This is Naraka Bladepoint. We're here on Xbox Series X. Be sure to like the video. Subscribing is great as well. So we did check out this game in the past, but recently it did get a bit of a, I don't know if you would call it a relaunch of sorts, but the game has now gone free to play. So it was a premium experience, and now you are able to enjoy the game at no cost. It's a multiplayer game. There's 60 players. Battle it out to be the last individual or team or squad standing. And yeah, that's kind of the core concept of this experience, is you are, battling away. Wow, our teammate has literally already died. That's terrible. So yeah, what are we getting here? It's a 4K resolution, 60 FPS. There is Dolby Atmos support. It's got cross-play. And it is a little bit of a different twist on the Battle Royale genre, since it is, well, melee focused, as you can tell. You're using swords, well, nunchucks, staffs, stuff like that. Now, the game does also have some ranged weaponry as well. So you get things like a cannon, or you get things like a crossbow, stuff that fits into the whole bladed warfare style of play. But most people do focus on melee combat, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, it is quite fascinating to see this one become a free-to-play type game. I mean, it does make sense. It was always interesting that this one was like a premium type experience. But I did think it was worth coming, back to at this point, because like I said, it has been quite a while, and some things have changed, and, I even came back here and I was like, oh, okay, so they've done, some adjustments, they've added some stuff, they've changed some things. So I thought it was worth kind of taking another look at, if that makes sense, which we don't always do here, but I thought, this would be a good idea. There we go. I was like, how can I not get through this? Ooh, that is a pretty good bow, even though I don't do a lot of distance stuff. Cool. So as I was mentioning, you can play the game. There's like solos, or you can play like 2s or 3s. There's even like a bot match you can do. There is actually, like, strangely way too many bots in multiplayer too, which is a bit odd, but I don't know why that is the case. Anyways, it is what it is. You come in here, you fight stuff, you deal with it. But yeah, 60 players going at it. Who's going to be the last one standing? That's the big part of the game. And then you've got this giant purpley cloud thing, like every Battle Royale, that's pushing you in, and eventually you're in like a little circle, fighting to the death, and somebody kind of wins. But this one does have a bit more,
unguarded treasure.
At least for me, kind of interesting depth to it, because you are, you're in this like long-term kind of battle, and then, you've got these different swords, and there's a plethora of different characters too. So I find that really interesting in the sense that it's like, these different characters have different like abilities and ultimates. Like mine's got a cool sort of shadowy disappear, do some backstab stuff. Pretty cool. Some can be like they become like a giant mech or a giant weird monster thing, or they've got some kind of like huge stun thing. So the different characters have different skills and abilities that allow them to well, basically make an impact out here on the battlefield, which is really quite cool. Then there's a neat sense of, like, sort of stunning and blocking and parrying. Like, there's actually a lot of little details to the way the combat's done and to the movement, right? Like, you can grappling hook around, you can notify your teammate where things are, you can, like, hop up walls, you can kind of run away. Because if you get, like, a skilled group of people going at it, there's this neat sense of, like, attack and then kind of, like, back up and put up shields. Because, you've got these two different markers. So there's the health, which if you look at the bottom left of the screen, you can see, like, I've got, like, that white bar is health, and then the blue bar. And this will change based on the type of armor you have. The blue bar is, like, your shields. So during battle, you'll often see people kind of, like, backing out, going in, kind of going back and forth. trying to keep up their health and everything like that. And you just use that on the D-pad, and it's pretty effective. So it's just this neat balance of like, you know, attacking, making sure your health up, also making sure that your weapon is repaired, because, you know, it's got so much durability, and you do have a couple weapons in case durability is a problem, but you do actually have to manage that. Then there's the Soul Jade bag. So the Soul Jade bag allows you to basically like have these upgrades. So you get like, some of them will be more health, some of them will be more damage. And then you get better tiers of that too. As you've noticed, clearly there's rarity in regards to the weapons and the tools and everything you get. Then you've got X amount of space in your bag, and then you've got these like special Dark Tide coins. So when you're killing people, you pick up these coins. You might have, well, basically already seen me do that. But you pick up these coins, and then you're able to essentially go to these weird boxes with like a hand sticking out of them, and then you can buy things. There's like a really cool ability that will allow you to like essentially shoot like a big cloud storm if you get like 16,000 of them, which is pretty awesome. But that's limited, like you can't use it the whole map, or the whole match, because like towards the end it kind of vanishes. But yeah, you can get things like a special random item, or maybe it'll increase your storage so you can hold more stuff. And being a battle royale, it resets every single time, right? So it's always a different like kind of setup and battle scenario. But it's kind of neat. Like it works. Like functionally for me, I find it to be, you know, quite an intriguing title. I think this one is it's really quite cool. Like it's got a lot of interesting stuff to it. Ugh. So I think from that perspective, there's actually a lot that this game has to offer, and it's got some neat back and forth gameplay mechanics, and it's got some interesting stuff to it. And then if you're caught in the shield, what's kind of cool, or not the shield, the giant purple vortex cloud, is it'll take out your health, not really your armor, and then that's kind of how it could kill you if you're not in the way. Okay, here you go. So this is that box that you can talk to, and you see at the bottom it's got the expensive moon thing. Oh, usually it's like 1,600 points, or 16,000, which I kind of want to save towards. But you can do all this stuff like item bag expansion, and you get more slots, and you can hold more stuff, and you know, it's pretty straightforward, but offers a lot of complexity. And then there's like the tutorial area in this game is like, it's kind of a little bit slow and a little bit long, like you do the tutorial, which is pretty good. And then you have to do like a second like in-game tutorial, and it's kind of like, well, why not just do one big tutorial? But so it might feel like it takes a little bit to get into in that regard, like, you know, because you probably have a gist of what a battle royale is, so that could be slightly annoying. But I think once you get going and you're kind of fighting and you're attacking, and there's like a good flow to it. But it really comes down to like your excitement of a battle royale too. You know, do you still find this concept intriguing and interesting is going to be your biggest sort of hurdle of intrigue. But like other than that, you just kind of jump in, you fight, you have all your different matches. It functions really, really quite well. And as I said, I like it. And then the weapons you have different like styles to them. I really love these dual blades. So it kind of is like a mix of what do you find, you know, kind of helpful for the setup that you're doing. You know, what kind of build are you doing on this particular battle, and then like what are you grabbing in order to help you while you're fighting others. And I think that's the biggest thing. And it might seem pretty easy going, but that's because we've been dominating pretty well. But like, you can die viciously fast in this game. Like, you could be full health 1 second, and then the next you've got, like, you know, nothing going on for you. And I think that is quite neat, because it's like, you really, like, even myself, I sometimes think of myself as being too tough, and then, like, you know, I'm getting, like, stomped all of a sudden. It's crazy how fast that changes. And then the combat could be, like, this really cool swirl of just frantic sword action, and some people trying to leave and then getting stunned, and then good like parrying and blocking, and then counter-attacking, and yeah, it's kind of deep enough. Like, it's really easy to kind of learn, but then I can see where some people just, you know, really can do quite well in this, because you can get to a point where you've just got like a good advantage building of like, knowing the mechanics, knowing the gameplay, getting those attacks in at the right point, swarming the other team. And then that's how you kind of get your big, like, breaks and wins, and then, you know, that's kind of the core gameplay of it. It's really, really quite simple. Like, it makes complete sense, and it's very easygoing, but also kind of difficult, because it's like, you know, you meet the wrong group of people, and you will absolutely get dominated. But you don't, like, drop in this one, in case you're wondering. I guess I should have mentioned that maybe earlier. But you just kind of, like, you literally pick, like, a spawn zone, and you kind of spawn with your team, or choose not to, and you kind of, like, hope that there's not a lot of people that pick near you. And that in itself is kind of cool, because you can sort of choose to go right into the conflict with others. That was genuinely impressive. That was very, very good. I was like, oh, that's really cool. So yeah, that aspect of this is really, really neat. Do you want to go intense? Do you want to collect stuff before you do, you know, your combat? How are things going to work out for you? And then if you die, there is a bit of like a respawn kind of system. Like your teammates, they can bring you back for like a, you know, within reason. There's like, you get like a chance, and then you're kind of done. And then over time, that chance kind of disappears too as the match naturally progresses. And then there's like this ghost ability, so you can like die. And then essentially you'll be like, I guess the best way to describe it is you become like a ghost. So if you die like right off the bat, you can become a ghost and go to this like thing and then bring yourself back. And, you know, that's a whole interesting mechanic of it. So that's kind of a neat little extra thing, just so that people don't, like, you guys die and just be like, oh, I'm frustrated, although I never understand the frustrations people have when you're going into a battle royale. You should know exactly what you're getting into. I mean, they explain it well enough to you in the opening stuff. So yeah, that aspect of it's really cool. Ooh! This is an even better chest that I can't seem to interact with.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know if it's lagging, I just literally cannot interact with this. So the game does have some secrets. You can find these like special caves if you have like a special key. You can find maybe something like a well of good spirits. You know, there's things like that in this game that are kind of intriguing to me. Just like having these like little hidden spots that might give you an advantage. Oh wow, that was pretty intense. This just got crazy. Okay. So there are like things on the map that you can like find. And there is like some different variation within like map scenarios, so you do get, you know, some different types of places to go. But they use verticality and stuff well too, and they have different like biomes. And then, you know, I kind of love how your character sort of moves within this world. Like you're very, it's like Assassin's Creed on steroids almost. It feels like sometimes, where you're kind of like flopping through the map very, very effectively. Where are we headed? I think we're supposed to go in this way. Okay, we're going further because we were right on the edge. Okay, that makes sense. And then it just kind of gets like really tight, and the battles are pretty good. Like timely wise too, the matches don't take forever. There can be quite some downtime, and there is like some bouts of pop-in, as you're probably seeing too, but you know, it does look pretty decent, and it does play pretty well, and there's like some little bits of like deformation stuff, which is kind of neat. Like you're seeing that maybe in the sand earlier, and I've seen a little bit of that in the snow. But I think the strengths of this game are like the interesting melee combat, the interesting gameplay, the blocking, the attacking, the sense of like, you know, a little bit of a distance attacking if you want. And then the characters. You know, like I do think the characters look, I already have the gold thing. I think the characters look kind of cool, and there's a lot of them, like a really good roster of characters here. So it does offer like some good variety there, especially if you want to mix things up, depending on the characters you have access to. But yeah, there's you know, some interesting elements to it. And then like with the grappling hook too, it really changes how you get around. Like I think the core of the game is that it wants you to, you know, kind of be able to get places really fast. You know what I mean? Like it wants you to move around, it wants you to attack. And it just kind of keeps the action flowing really effectively in that way. Then there's always like these extra things. So this is like a cash hunt, but sometimes you get like a bounty. So those are some of the additional environmental things. Greatsword, slow shot. Don't even have a musket. Don't even have a musket. Yeah, and then these bells, they'll like tell you if anyone's in the vicinity. Which apparently there is not. Which is not good if we want to fight and kill people.
Only 5 teams left. Victory is on the horizon.
Thank you, weird monstrous thing on the side of the screen. But yeah, no, there's these little things. You can do like a bounty hunt and get extra points. It's got like all the little stuff of, you know, battle royale games, but just sort of set up for the concept of doing melee-centered combat. Not fully melee, you know, it's not, yeah, there's distant stuff, but that really is what it comes down to, is being like, you're doing melee and fighting and trying to survive, and it's pretty cool. You know, like I said, I do like, how much can I do this again? You know, I do like this game, and it's really coming down to like, you know, is this something that you find intriguing? You know, is this something that you find like it would be fun to play? Because I kind of enjoy it. I think it's pretty easygoing, fun combat and melee action, and it's not too hardcore or grueling. I do kind of ponder about like, usually what I feel are like an increase of like bots and stuff, but like, yeah, it's nice that it's free to play at this point. It just makes it a little bit easier to get into, to see if you like it, to get in there and cut stuff. See there, now we're getting some different like hero type abilities, and it's this really kind of neat back and forth flow of combat and mayhem. And stamina too, you gotta watch out for your stamina level. Because yeah, this can get pretty intense pretty fast, and you can die like super quickly. Especially if you're not expecting an attack like that. That's a lot of soul coins, that's awesome. But yeah, it's got this like neat sort of like mythic style to it. Like it really does kind of work well. But, you know, do you have capacity for more Battle Royale? Do you have more interest for Battle Royale? That's something I do kind of like, kind of ponder, is like, is this going to be something that you are intrigued about, or something that's like, I don't know, I've seen so much of this at this point, because yeah, we have had so many Battle Royales, so my teammate is getting absolutely cut away. Oh, should have went out there a little bit faster.
Get me some spools first. Come to me and be healed.
This is not good. Like I said, you really can die fast, right? I can't get away.
Get me some spools first.
Yeah, I think I'm dead. Ooh.
Ready for everything. Or maybe they'll never see you coming. You can't rush beauty. Sturdy again.
See, it gets a little crazy sometimes, that is for sure. But this is what keeps the combat kind of interesting, is when the combat does go down, depending on your setup, it makes a huge difference. Oh, jeez. And the giant purpley cloud is nearby. But anyways, it works for what it is. It's kind of interesting. It's kind of intriguing. You might like it. It's kind of a cool game.